This video is for the lesson 5.3 homework. So you've got the homework page, and then you've got some graph paper to use. Okay, again, we're going to do it both ways today because I want you to see some different stuff that I think it's going to make your life easier. Okay, so number one, what is the name of the point where two lines meet or cross? So that when they're one solution, that point where they cross, what's that point called? Intersection. It's the intersection. All right, what's the name of a solution in a system of equations in which the lines have the same slope and the same y-intercept? No, if they're parallel, if they're the same, what's the solution? What's the answer called? We have one solution. What are our other two options? Infinite. So if it's the same line, it's infinite solutions. All right, so you know, tomorrow on the quiz you are going to have to graph. It's going to be an Eduphoria. You're going to have to graph. So I'm going to show you both ways and how to graph on Eduphoria. Okay? So what we covered yesterday was how to do this in the calculator. So that's how I'm going to do the first one. So this one here, I'm going to do menu 3, 2 equations. My letters are x and y, and I type them in just like this. X minus y equals, it'd help if I was in the right spot. X minus y equals a negative 2, and then 3x plus y equals a negative 2. And that's it. Okay, so you can put standard form in this, which helps because I know we struggle with converting. I'm going to show you an easy way to convert, though, from standard to slope intercept. Okay, so negative 1, comma 1, and that's it. That's my answer. Now, for tomorrow's quiz, you are going to have to graph. So I'm going to show you how to graph from standard form, the easy way to graph from standard form. So you know yesterday how I showed you you could find your points on the graph side of this? You could go into the graph. Well, see how it's set up? I can't put standard form. If it says f of x, that wants slope-intercept form. I want y'all to try this right now on your calculators. Go to the graph, and I want you to do, here's the keys. You're going to do, once you're on this screen, menu 3, 3, 1, 3. So you're just going to hit menu and then 3, 3, 1, 3. You can push the number buttons and see if that changes. See if it changes to how mine changed. Menu 3, 3, 1, 3. Ooh, mine's not doing it.
Yeah, mine wasn't.
Yours isn't either?
Yeah, it's not one that did last.
Okay. Let me look on this one. Because it may be one of those things that's disabled during testing. Menu 3. Yep. It won't let you. Menu 3. Yep, see where mine says right here, equation templates? That's what we're wanting, and y'all can't get to that. You can't. It skips over that. So, never mind on that. All right. So, if you can't use the calculator, here's your other option to graph this thing. Man, I was hoping that would work. All right. What I can do is I can find 2 points. So I'm going to swap out the x for a 0 the first time. And I'm going to do menu 3, 1 this time. And I'm going to solve that equation. 9 times 0 plus 8y equals negative 48, comma y, and I get y equals negative 6. Then I'm going to do it again, but this time I'm going to swap the y out for a 0. And do the same thing. Menu 3, 1, 9x plus 8 times 0 equals negative 48. This time it's comma x. Ew, that one comes out gross. Let's do menu. We don't like fractions, so we're not going to mess with this one. So what we just did is we created an ordered pair. An ordered pair for that first equation is 0 comma negative 6. So we know that's a good point. Okay? There's not much else we can do. We can't graph it yet. We got to have 2 points. So I'm going to do the same thing for the second one. I'm going to swap the x out for a 0. 0 minus 4y equals negative 20. And then I'm going to solve it. 0 minus 4y equals negative 20, comma y. And I get a 5, so y equals 5. And then I'm going to swap the y out with a 0. So x minus 4, instead of that y, I put a 0. And then menu 3, 1. Negative 20, comma x. And I get x equals negative 20. So now I've got 2 sets of ordered pairs here. So my x was 0 here, and my y was 5. So that's a good point for this one. 0 comma 5. And then the other good point, I made the y 0 and the x negative 20. So you got to flip it. X comes first. So negative 20 comma 0. So if I've got 2 points, I can graph. Okay? But if you look at the graph, I can't do this point. So the last thing that I can do is the menu 3, 2. And we can solve this system for our other point. So 9x plus 8y equals negative 48. And then x minus 4y equals negative 20. So we know that point that comes up, that negative 8, comma 3. We know that's our solution, but we still have to graph it. So again, on tomorrow's quiz, I can show it to you. So here's tomorrow's. Ooh, it'd help if it was your class. There we go. It's going to give you 2 lines, and you have to graph them. So the solution, if you do the menu 3, 2, this point will be located on the graph. That will be 1 point for each line. Okay? We're going to do another one like this, so don't panic yet. All right. So my first line, we know there's a point at 0, negative 6. So what number is this? 5. So I'm going to put a point at 0, negative 6. And then that solution point was negative 8, and then positive 3. And so that's my first line. And then for my other equation, 0 comma 5, that's my y-intercept. And then that negative 8, positive 3, that's this point again, is good for that line as well. Okay. The reason I normally don't make kids practice solving by graphing, but you are going to have to graph this year on the EOC. That is almost a guaranteed. So we've got to be able to do it. Okay? From a table is way, way easier. Okay? So number 7, I'm going to try to fit all this on the same page here so we can see it. All right, so I'm going to do y1. This is going to be my light pink line. These are all ordered pairs. -12, 5, -8, 2. Those are all ordered pairs. So none of these are on the graph, but this one is 0, -4. That's a good point. 4, -7. So over 4, down to -7. And then, ooh, I don't think that should be a 2. I'm thinking that should be a 6. Let's look at this point. -8, +2. -8. I think I have a typo in there. Sorry, guys. Trying to find my boo-boo. Let's see. -4. Let's just leave it at that and let's graph it there. Because I think this is a wonky point. Alright, so that's that first line. And then y2. So I'm going to ignore all of these. So -8, -6. Over to -8, down to -6. 0, 4, 0, 4, and then 4, 9, 4, 9, and then I can connect. And where they cross, so where does it look like those two lines cross? I would agree with that. -4, -4, -1. So tables, for the least amount of work, graphing is the quickest. Your other option is to do linear regression on this table to get your 2 equations and then do the menu 3-2. That's a lot of steps when you can just graph it out. Okay? All right. Let's do this one. So y1, that's going to be up here. That'll be my lighter color. And so again, all of these are points. So -2, +3. -2, +3. -1, +1. -1, +1. 0, -1. 1, -3. And you don't have to graph all of these points, but if you want it to be accurate and you really want to be able to see where they cross accurately, graph as many as you can. And then 2, -5, 2, -5. And then we connect the dots. Okay. And then for my other line, this y2, we ignore this row. So now we've got -2, +6, -1, +4, 0, 2, 1 and 0, and then 2 and -2. Now those look almost parallel. What do you guys think? When I graph them, I'd say they're parallel. Your graph's going to be a little bit wonky. But if for the majority of what's on your actual graph paper, they stay parallel, most likely. Because again, here's the thing. If you have to graph one of these questions, especially on Eduphoria where we take our test, if it's parallel, if it's showing parallel on the graph that we use, it's parallel. The answer, whether it's infinite, no solution, or it's an actual point, will be physically, you will be able to see that point on the graph. Does that make sense? So like here, you can see that both lines are the same. You can see where they cross. That solution will show up on the graph. It's not going to be off the screen. Does that make sense? Hope. So if they're parallel, it's no solution. So for the equation ones, I'm good with you doing the menu 3-2, doing it that way for those. I'm not going to make you graph these two. These two, the easiest option is to graph for 8 and 10. Okay.